Hello everybody, Jeff here. Just thought I'd do you a quick video update you on how the uke's going, and here it is. I've done a few bits on it. Now I'm really just getting ready to just starting to go gigging with it. Fix a crack, I can still see it but it's still there. But I've done some things to it really, because when I got it I wasn't unhappy with it. It wasn't playing very well. So I've changed the strings. It had a high G, which was kind of throwing me off a little bit, so I've changed it for a low G. Also I've changed the strings, and I've got a different set now, fluorocarbon, which actually sounds nice, I think. Changed the saddle and the nut, because there was plastic, so I've changed them for bone. And it is sounding nice. I think it's sounding really nice. It's been a bit of a challenge because I've had to learn a whole range of new chords because the notes are different, the strings are different, and only 4 strings. So it's been an interesting journey. And what's funny is this is on a guitar that's a D chord, but on here it's a G chord. So some chords are easier, like C is just 1, and A minor is just 1, which is nice. But then other things like E minor is a little bit more difficult. It's not difficult, it's just easier on the guitar. D is easier on the guitar because D is a problem because I've got to squeeze 3 fingers into this, and it's a small fret, so that gets a little bit awkward. But overall I'm loving it, really loving it. Still got a few, I think I can still get the action a little bit lower, especially around the nut. So I've ordered some files, some nut files to just drop them down a little bit, just because it's a little bit hard on the fingers. But it's great, and I'm really glad I got it now. I've actually, I don't know if you caught it, but I've actually done some recording with it, and I did the song that I posted last week, She's the One. I am playing the ukulele on it. I'll put the link to it in the end of the video, so it'll come up, so you click on it and listen for the uke. I think it really suits the song, and what I'm finding I'm doing now when I'm arranging. Before, what I would do, I'd arrange the song and I'd find the right key for my voice. Well, now I'm still doing that, but what I'm doing as well is bearing in mind the chords for the ukulele, and so trying to keep the chords in a nice key that's actually suitable to play the ukulele easily, because some keys are easier to play than others, some chords are easier to play than others, so I'm bearing that in mind as well. So I've got to, so I'm finding that as I'm arranging, I'm actually arranging for the ukulele and arranging for my voice, which is interesting. I think that I'm definitely going to be using it a lot when I'm doing the residential homes, because I mentioned it the other day. It was interesting, but it was funny because I walked in and it was a lovely day, and I just said, "Turn that nice again," and she says, "Oh." One of the ladies says, "Oh, who said that?" I said, "Oh yeah, we did say that." And obviously it's George Formby's catchphrase, "Turn that nice again." So then I started telling him about the ukulele and that I've got a ukulele, and it was like, oh, you've got to bring it. So I think that, and then she proceeded to ask me to do when I'm cleaning windows, but I've not arranged that, not yet anyway. So I think I'm going to use it a lot in the old people's homes, but I'm interested to try it out in the street, and I'm interested to try it out on some of my own songs, because it's just going to be an interesting twist and an interesting sound really, and just I'm intrigued to see how it's going to go busking. So that's that. That's another thing I was going to talk about. Got another interesting thing that I'm giving some thought. And that is whether or not to have a music stand when I go out, when I go busking, or whether I go gigging in residential homes, because it's hard enough to remember the lyrics without having to remember the chords as well. I know when I was a kid and I would be in a band, I memorised all the songs, and I was a singer as well, and I knew all the chords, so I've been practising, but I don't know. What do you think? What do you think? Let me know in the comments what you think, because so many people now just use, it's all on phones, isn't it? So they'll have a phone in front of them, often I think with the lyrics, maybe the lyrics and the chords. It's one thing when you forget the lyrics and you can just make something up on the spot, or just goof about and say, well, you know, I've got the words, anybody know the words, which I often do. But what do you do if you forget the chords? You go, and no one's going to know the chords, are they? So that's interesting. So I think I might end up having to have some sort of music thing there. But I can't have another phone. I've got too many phones as it is, because this phone that I'm recording this on is what I use to record the show. So that's that. Then I have another phone which I use for card payments, you know, because you have to have that linked to your phone. So that's another phone. I have another phone what I use for backing tracks, with the backing tracks on, you know, we see when I'm going up to the speaker when I'm doing that's another phone. So that's 3 phones. So then I'd have another phone or an iPad there with the chords on and stuff. That's mental. Anyway, that's that. I love the ukulele sound. Beautiful. I love it. Just seems so happy. So that's that. Thank you for listening, and as always, drop me a comment. Be nice. Like and subscribe if you want to, and look after yourselves, and I hope you're doing well, and I'll speak to you again soon. Love and light.